Good evening, everyone. I warmly welcome you all to today's session of the JMCSJ Research Methodology Online Workshop Series, organized in collaboration with Blue Ocean Insights Private Limited. We are very happy to see participants joining from different academic and professional backgrounds. Your presence itself shows a strong commitment towards developing meaningful and impactful research. Today's session focuses on a very important stage of the research journey, selecting a clear, relevant, and researchable topic. A well-chosen topic is the first step toward producing high-quality academic work that contributes not only to knowledge development but also to social progress and policy relevance. It is now my pleasure to introduce today's resource person. She is the director of Blue Ocean Insights Private Limited, actively engaged in leading multidisciplinary research initiatives related to artificial intelligence, sustainability, organizational development, and data-driven decision environments. She has guided numerous research projects across sectors, instruction, and sustainable development. Her research vision combines interdisciplinary thinking, ethical academic practice, and global scholarly engagement, making her an inspiring mentor for emerging researchers. So, without taking much time, I would like to warmly invite Ms. Hansini Pramidika to conduct today's session on research topic selection and problem identification.
Yes, I think you all can hear me. It's better someone can confirm.
Yes, Hansini, we can hear you.
Yes. Okay, thanks for the wonderful introduction. So, we have conducted a couple of sessions earlier regarding research methodology and also one thematic lecture as well. So I think now you guys have a certain kind of understanding regarding research. Yes, it might be a basic understanding, but I think now uh, we have we are building a perfect foundation, right? So no worries. We have like 10 sessions more. With today's session, we have altogether we have 11 sessions. So yes, I think we are doing a great job with you guys, and I'm inviting all of you to engage with the session and get the maximum outcome possible. So it will be a good opportunity to you guys to learn something regarding research. So I'm here to give you the best possible outcome according to my knowledge, right? So let's start the session. I think I can share the slideshow here. Right. You can see, no, Diniti, can you
Yes,
confirm? Right,
yeah,
okay.
it is visible. Yes.
Okay. All right. Today's session is research topic selection and problem identification. So very important, without selecting any topic, so you are unable to conduct your research. So selecting the topic is very much critical, and it is a challenging stage. So the thing is, you have to consider many things, plenty of important things before determining your research topic. So at the same time, with the research topic, you have to consider the research problem as well. So you have to identify the research problem. So these actions, or these two stages are going on simultaneously, right? So you can't select a topic without problem, and you have to think about the research problem to determine the research topic, right? So make sure to uh, concentrate 50-50, right? So you have to invest on these two aspects 50-50, otherwise you are unable to build a balance platform to conduct your research, right? So then we can move on to the overall session. So this is quite interesting actually. If you are a researcher, and if you are a person who is willing to engage with this particular field, and at the same time you are going to establish your career based on research, or else you are going to do your academic research, right? It doesn't matter. So anyways, you have to learn this with a great motivation, because this is the basic foundation. If you are done here, definitely you will be able to do your best with your research journey. Maybe you have a certain kind of idea regarding this particular topic. Maybe you are a newcomer, no matter. I'll give my best to convince you about this within this limited time period, right? Okay. Right. There are kind of objectives here. So we have to fulfill all these objectives. So these objectives guide us to continue this session. So I'll move on to the next slide, okay? Right. So here it is important to find a research topic wisely, right? Because it provides you the guideline to your research. And let's say if you are unable to adjust the keywords and the maybe the context, or maybe the wordings of your research title, it provides a sometimes it provides a negative feeling to the society, or maybe the readers. Because let's say you are going to publish your paper. If you are going to submit the dissertation report of your research to your supervisor, he will guide you to do the amendments here to your research of your research title. But the thing is, if you are going to publish your research paper, so your paper will be reviewed by the editors of the journal and the reviewers of the journal. So they are judging you, right? So if you so the thing is, you have to balance everything in your title, and you have to be so much strategic, and at the same time you have to think very wisely, right? That is intelligent topic selection, right? Anyways, anyone definitely read the title first. So the first impression should be very much attractive, and it provides kind of sense about the researcher. So it should be it should be an intelligent decision, right? So good research start with the intelligent topic selection. That's why I'm trying to tell here, right? Okay. And why many students fail in research, right? This happens, right? So I have plenty of experiences because so many students pass their academic papers, I mean the examinations, very well with distinction passes, but when it comes to research, it becomes a very stressful platform to most of the students. So there are a couple of reasons behind that. So you have to think carefully, and you have to make your decisions wisely, because this is so much vulnerable, right? Maybe you have completed all the 5 chapters, and then your supervisor asked to change the title because there is an issue with your title. So then what happens? So you have already invested a couple of months, like 3-4 months on your maybe your bachelor's level research or your master's level research, right? So think about this seriously. The other thing is you have to negotiate with your supervisor. You have to show the things. You have to communicate with him or her, with your supervisor very well. So you have to make it confirm whether your title is accurate or not, right? Those are different things. But when it comes to your mindset, so it is quite critical and important, right? There are so many reasons behind that. Common mistakes, there are common mistakes you are doing, right? So selecting very broad topics, it is not possible. So here in the right hand side, so you can see your supervisor will ask you to do different things, right? It may be quite hurtful, but it is the nature of conducting a research, right? You may get millions of comments on your research, but you have to face it, right? So copying existing titles, so you can't do that. So you have come up with your own research title, so then it should be your unique work. It should be your own work, innovative, your own work, right? So the third point is choosing topics without social relevance, right? So if you are a social science researcher, so you have to engage with the society, right? So everything comes from the society's side, right? Then you can invest your competencies on that. That is the nature, right? So it should be social relevance, right? Social relevance should be there, right? So the fourth mistake is no clear research gap. There should be a research gap. So we are going to discuss these things further, right? I'm just mentioning these stuffs here, right? So the fifth one is objectives not measurable, right? So don't be miserable. So you have to consider each and every stuff which negatively affects your research. So don't do these common mistakes, right? So get the maximum outcome from this session and just go ahead, right? So good research start with intelligent topic selection. Okay, what makes a topic powerful, right? So here you can see a couple of pictures here. See the faces of them, right? So you also feel the same feeling at the end of the day. So here you are doing the required investments here, right? So no worries. Okay. A strong topic should address a real social issue. So you can imagine and come to different decisions, right? So you have to have a you have to conduct a background study, right? So you have to come up with the real world insights, real world information, right? It is compulsory. Okay. And be academically researchable. Let's say you are going to introduce like something like Newton theory. Definitely you can do that. If there is something now a new theory, definitely you can do that. But when it comes to publishable research and also academic research, so it should be academical researchable, right? It should be it should come up with literature and other theoretical background as well. So you have to amalgamate theory with the practical insights, right? So it is also necessary, right? And the third point is create knowledge contribution, right? You have to contribute to the existing knowledge, and at the same time influence policy or practice, right? That the term is research translation. So it is very much important, research translation, right? Research translation in the sense, so we are conducting a research here and we publish it. That's all. Is it usable? No. When we design the policies, right? Maybe in a country, maybe in an organization, maybe in a different context, right? When creating or when designing the policies, so we have to come up with the okay, don't worry guys, technical issues are there. Okay. Yes, I must say about research translation. Yes, when we establish policies, right, in a country or in an organization or a different kind of context, so we are establishing policies now. So when we are establishing policies, those things should be based on the accurate data or accurate information. It is a must. Otherwise, you may face plenty of negative circumstances, right? If you don't come up with accurate information, right? So the academic research outcome, we should plant it in the ground level, right? It is research translation. Okay, it should be there, and at the same time align with journal scope. So if you are going to publish your research paper in a journal, so it should be aligned with the journal scope as well. So you have to read it out, the journal scope very well, right? So eventually it becomes publishable, right? Okay. This slide is also important, right? So I have prepared this related to the Journal of Marginalized Communities and Social Justice, right? So here I am going to give you 5 examples based on the journal scope, right? So this provide a great snapshot, so you guys can consider these kind of stuffs when determining a research title. Even it is good if you are going to submit your paper to JMCSJ. No matter if you are going to publish your research paper in another journal, right? So you have to apply the same method. Okay, right. There are 5 areas: healthcare access, right? Digital inequality, women in economic participation, technology and employment anxiety, right? Research, university student life, right? These are the selected 5 areas. And at the same time, so you can identify the issues in the real life related to these 5 areas, right? So real life situation. So I am going to take an example. Let's take the first one, right? Elderly people struggle to use digital health services. So you may have the same experience. If maybe your father and mother, they are old, maybe regarding your grandparents as well, right? So nowadays with digitalization, most of the doctors are they like to contact the patient through the cell phone, maybe video call, maybe through a Zoom meeting, likewise, right? So, but when it comes to baby boomers, that generation, especially, they don't have a significant knowledge to maintain these kind of devices and apps and all, right? So it becomes a issue, right? Becomes it is natural, no? So we can find that issue everywhere, most of the countries probably, right? So weak topic is, so we see this picture here in the practical context, and you are going to determine the topic healthcare problems. So then what? So if you carefully see this, right, you may find like hundreds of healthcare problems in the environment, right, in the healthcare sector. But so can you cover all those problems at once? It is not possible. So you have to carefully choose one of them, right? So then intelligence research topics. So thereafter you have to focus. First of all, you have to focus. First of all, you have to observe, and thereafter you have to focus, and after that you can determine your research title very intelligent manner, right? Barriers to telemedicine adoption among elderly patients in semi-urban Sri Lanka. So then what happened? When you read this title, so many insights you can grab at once, right? The reason why this is strong, right? Direct marginalization. So I told you that these examples are given based on the scope of the JMCSJ, and this area, and the title is directly connected to marginalization, and then social justice as well, right? And at the same time, health inequality as well. So likewise, when you are selecting a journal, right? So you have to think like that, right? So you have to have enough justifications, right? Okay, let's move on to the next slide. Right. Identifying research ideas from daily life, right? This is very practical. So if you think carefully, if you focus very well, you may find plenty of research ideas existing around you, maybe in your office premises, maybe your university, maybe in your family, everywhere, right? Research ideas are everywhere, right? Examples, there are four examples I put here. University stress, student mental well-being stress, research, right? The second one, rising food prices, household financial coping strategies, right? Online learning, digital inequity, migration, social vulnerability, right? Researchers observe society scientifically. Then only they can conduct a research. Research methodology is the scientific method. So you have to dig everything, right? There is a lot. So you have to dig and find the suitable thing. What is appropriate for your context and what is suitable for your title and what are the things you have to organize around you, how to manage your context, right? How to adjust the things you have to do in scientific manner, right? So your thinking pattern is very important, right? So so you can't make decisions blindly, right? So you have to have enough evidence and you have to come up with enough justifications if you do something. So you have to prove that in front of the society. Otherwise, it doesn't be a research, right? So scientific method is quite important. Okay. Scientific study of society, right? So here I am just talking about social science research, right? So there are a number of fields, right? Number of perceptions, right? Number of disciplines here. Maybe it is a social science research, maybe a laboratory like medical science research, right? Those are there are plenty of types or plenty of disciplines, right? We can see when it comes to the research world, right? So here we are going to talk about social science research, right? So let's say you are going to do a laboratory research using patient's blood, right? So it becomes a medical science research, right? And it is a experimental research because we are doing it inside the lab, right? So laboratory research are different. So here we are talking about social science research, right? It is also a different field, right? Okay. Now, how social science researchers are doing their research in scientific manner, right? First of all, so they have to study the society. As I told you earlier, without social evidence or without connecting to the society, so you are unable to conduct a research. That is the nature of social science research, right? Observation should be there. So you can observe the society through surveys, right? So you know about, there are many surveys, many types of surveys, market surveys. There are a lot of types, right? So experimental and field studies, data collection. So kind of things they are, right? To collect your data and to gather your insights, right? To observe, right? And then when it comes to social science research, so there are different areas, right? Social behavior, that means human behavior. So you can observe human behavior and uh, organize the data, right? How they behave in this kind of context, likewise, right? So observing social behavior of people, so you can make you can do your analyze, right? And culture and norms, right? So there are participants from different continents of the world. Okay, I think you can hear me, right? So as I told you earlier, uh, there are different cultures, right? So here there are participants from the different countries, right? So you guys have different cultures, right? So those are consist with different kind of insights and unique features are available, right? So you can study the differences. So you can get a certain kind of context. Let's say uh, you can identify cultural festivals you celebrate, and in China you have different New Year, right? So we also have a different New Year. It is a cultural event, right? So you can take two countries and you can observe how those two how the people of these of the selected two countries are celebrating their New Year, and then you can compare and contrast, right? So if you do that scientific manner, so it becomes a cultural related research study. So you can do that, right? So maybe about you can study about the economy. Yes, I'm sorry. Today here in Sri Lanka, there is an weather condition, so that's why the signal is interrupting, right? So it is not possible to control that because we cannot control the weather. That's the issue actually. So anyways, we are going to complete the session, right? So let's do our best, right? Okay. And economic, right? So there are economic issues as well with the pandemic situation, corona. So all of our countries uh, faced a significant drop down of the economies, right? So it is again affecting during this time period as well. So there are so many things to study, right? So, and at the same time education, right, and health. So there are different types of research areas, and I have to mention one thing, right? So you are from different fields, right? Maybe you are into health field, right? Maybe you are into education, economic, finance side, right? Or maybe you are into social science related uh, career, right? So if you are going to conduct a research, it's better if you can select something related to your career, because it eventually becomes an investment, right? So it provides a good background for you, right? It is fine tuning you, and it creates it's accelerate your career, right? So it's better if you can, anyhow, it's, let's say you are into health field, right? Health plus administration field, right? So let's say you are working in health ministry, right? It is an administration job, but you are into health field, right? So as you are doing an administration role, so you are going to engage with the MBA, Master of Business Administration, right? So there are so many fields you can study. Maybe HRM, maybe marketing. There are so many things, right, in the MBA curriculum. So the thing is, if when you conduct your research, right, let's say you are doing a HRM related research, definitely you can select health field as the context, right? So it might be very much important and very much support, very good like it creates a healthy atmosphere to your uh, professional journey, right? So think wisely. This is a small tip, right? So there are so many tips like that, right? Okay. And methods and tools. So when it comes to statistics, let's say if you are going to conduct a social science research and you are going to collect your data through a survey, then you can how to analyze the data. Even you can use Excel. It doesn't matter. But the thing is, there are advanced software as well, right? You can use SPSS. You can use Smart PLS likewise, right? So you have to select the appropriate software as well. So we have a couple of sessions related to data collection and data analysis as well in near future. But the thing is, when you selecting the research title, so you have to have a certain idea about how to analyze the data of this particular research. When determining the title, you have to have an idea, right? So it is the way to conduct a research. So when you see the research title, you can get an idea about the data analysis as well. You can get an idea about the research model, the conceptual framework as well. Likewise, okay, that is the way. That is those are the competencies of a good researcher, right? When you see the research title, you may see the overall research. It provides a snapshot, right? What kind of objectives are there? When you see the research title, you can like think or you can imagine what kind of objectives are there. You don't read it. You haven't read it. But the thing is, you have a certain idea. You have the sense. What kind of research questions what kind of conceptual framework, what kind of hypothesis, and what kind of questionnaire, right? Or maybe what kind of data collection tool, right? Or what kind of approach, qualitative or quantitative. Probably it is a mixed method, right? Likewise, you see the overall picture through the research title without opening the research report, right? So it is the so you have to develop your competencies that much. So it is my expectation here. So that's why I'm going to give you something based on my knowledge, using my fullest capacity, right? The other thing is conclusions and impact, right? So you observe the thing and you determine the area and everything, and you collect data, and you determine which tools you are going to use when you conduct when you conduct this particular research. And at the end of the day, with the after conducting the analysis, you jump into the conclusions, right? So then, based on the conclusion, right, so you write the findings and everything now. So with those, you provide a significant impact to the society. You are influencing, right? You are giving an impact. That is the ultimate goal of conducting this kind of social science research, right? Right. And scientific study, sorry, what social science researchers do, right? So as I told you earlier, they observe society, analyze the information, and understand problems, help create better solution for communities, right? So that is the way of this happens, right? Okay. And there are millions of social issues. So you already know that when discuss these kind of insights, so you also may feel different things based on your own experience, right? So likewise, there I have mentioned 20 social issues here, but there is a lot in this world. So you have to address as much as possible. We have very short life time now. So maybe after completion of your academic and everything, so you may have like maybe 20-30 years to do this everything, right? So we can't address all, but you can do something. You can make a significant impact. So make sure to do that as a researcher, right? That is the expectation. Okay. And turning social problems into research topics. What is that? Social issue, researchable topic, right? So I am giving here two examples, right? Youth unemployment. You also may also have a kind of these kind of experience in your life. So I also have unemployment period of my life as well, right? So during that time, I was marginalized, right? Okay. So when it comes to marginalization, right? We all are marginalized, maybe for a short time period, maybe for a long time period. So think about that. Think carefully. The pain behind that. right? So if you know that, so you have to have an answer, at least for others, right? So that is the service we have to do to our world for for humans, right? So we have to do that. It is our service, right? Okay, this is not only conducting research or conducting research and accelerating your career and maybe enhancing your salary package or kind of things. Don't limit that, right? Don't limit only to that, right? So earn money, but the thing is there is a gap, so we have to contribute to fill that gap. That is the requirement, to especially to today's world, right? Think it's better if you can fine tune your attitudes, right? It makes a great impact to the world. Maybe you are the social science researcher of the next era, right? I don't know, probably you are, right? So think about that. So you have to do that to the world, because there is a huge gap in this world, right? People are suffering, right? There are so many gaps to bridge, right? So we have to cater, we have to identify, we have to make an impact, make a positive impact to the world, right? That's why Journal of Marginalized Communities and Social Justice here. So if you can collaborate with us, right? It is it's my dream, right? Publish something and make an impact, talk about these kind of things in front of the world. So if somebody think about that, so it is our ultimate goal, right? Okay. And women entrepreneurship barriers, right? Financial literacy influence on micro enterprise sustainability among rural women, right? So these are simple but serious issues. So you can address these kind of issues when it comes to your society, when it comes to your district, when it comes to your country, maybe your province, maybe your living area has these kind of issues. So definitely you can select them. JMCSJ relevance, social justice lens. So I told about that with the previous slide. So you have to wear social justice lens. So then you can think differently, right? So you can do another thing, right? So you can contribute to the society and you can gain something as well. It's mutually beneficial, right? Okay, your topic should ask, if you do something regarding marginalized communities, right? So you can incorporate, if you are a health sector person, so you can do a marginalized community related research as well, right? So if you are a education person, you also create you also can identify a certain kind of research title related to this, right? This is a very broad scope actually. So you can design your research idea considering all these scientific methods, things, and the practical scenario and the theories as well. So when you wear this social justice lenses, right? So you can identify who is disadvantaged in your society, right? Who lacks access, right? Who is unheard in research, right? So maybe in your country or your district, there are so many people suffering from different kind of issues, but never researched about such issues, right? So you can be the pioneer, and you can raise your voice regarding that using the scientific method. That is the beautiful thing, because you are not speaking blindly, right? You analyze, you gather the data and you analyze things, and you come up with evidence, right? That is the most beautiful thing, right? So if you do this scientifically, no one can argue with you, right? It is already proved. You have evidence, right? Yes. Okay. You who is unheard in research, and what inequality exist, right? So this is contextual, right? Inequality is not it is we can't tell exactly, because someone can say women are marginalized. Is it true? Yes, but in some contexts. In some contexts, no, right? It is contextual. So you have to think carefully. There is no hard and fast rule to determine these kind of things. But if there is inequality, so you can prove those things with data and analysis and everything, right? So you can't blindly say anything. Okay, example, access to telemedicine among elderly population in semi-urban Sri Lanka, right? So I explained about this example, right? And broad and focused topic, right? This is very much important, because you can have a certain kind of idea about how to narrowing your research title, right? Broad in the sense education inequality. It is the broad issue, right? Better, you can fine tune little bit, right? Or online learning challenges. But if you are when you are focused, right, on the title, so it becomes very naturally, it gives the nature, the features of a good research title. Digital service accessibility and academic performance among low-income school students, right? Topic must be narrow and measurable, right? Okay. So you can read it out, this. If you want, you can get a screenshot and you can read this later on. When you are selecting your research title, so you have to go through the broad area, better topic direction, and then focused intelligent research topic likewise, right? Okay. And then understanding research gap practically, right? You have to bridge this gap, right? Research gap exists when context not studied, right? So let's say there is a certain kind of research, so it is done in India, but when it comes to Sri Lankan context, it is not done. So there is a contextual gap. And population not studied, right? Maybe there are different types of populations in your country, right? So when it comes to some populations, so the research is done, the others, right? So then theory not applied. There may be a theoretical gap as well, and findings contradictory. So it also provides good insights as scientific research, right? So that's how you have to understand the research gap. Okay, and then yes, there is a good picture, good snapshot about research gap. So there is, right, unanswered questions, limited or no research, right? Likewise, you can identify the gap, right? So the gap is between the existing knowledge and the need for new research. That's how you have to identify the research gap. So you have to study the existing knowledge, and also then you can find the research gap. What should be happen, right? Why research gaps matter, right? Advances knowledge, improves practical policies, right? Addresses real world issues, and opens door for further future research as well, right? So there is an example as well. What is known? Many studies shown that social media affects students, right? It is, we all know that, right? So we can identify the gap. However, limited research exists on rural students in Sri Lanka. There is no any research conduct for that in that context, right? So then you can conduct the research study for research opportunity, right? So, okay, this study will provide the impact of social media use and academic performance among rural students in Sri Lanka. That's how you can bridge the research gap. Okay, and then there are types of research gaps. Okay, the space where new research is needed, right? So there are 9 research gaps I put here, so you can read it out. Very important. First one is literature gap. You learned about that during the yesterday's lesson, yesterday's session, right? Literature gap and theoretical gap. When a topic has not been studied using a particular theory or conceptual framework, so there is a theoretical gap, and there may be a methodological gap as well, right? When previous research has mainly used one method, only quantitative or another approach, right? So qualitative or mixed method you can conduct for qualitative and or mixed method, right? Likewise, so there are empirical gaps, population gap, conceptual gap, right? Practical or policy gap, so technological gap, right? So we can fulfill these kind of any gap, right? So you can select any kind of gap when you conduct your research, when you identify your research title, right? Okay. Simple method to find gaps. So how to find gaps? This is only a one method, right? So there are plenty of methods, so you can find your own because you are a researcher. So I am giving you here, I am going to give you an example so you can find more, right? So you can go through my example and you can find more because you are a researcher, right? Okay, students can read last 5 years journal articles. So you observe one thing, so you determine your field based on your career or your preferences. So you can, it is freestyle, right? You can select your own, right? Last 5 years, read last 5 years journal article. And then you can check the limitation section, right? In the limitation section, so you can see the highlights. What are the possibilities? Oh, maybe they have mentioned future research section as well. Likewise, okay. So you can check that particular section as well. And then compare developed versus developing country evidence, right? So this is only one method, right? So you can compare the nature of a developed country and your country, likewise, right? And then identify policy debates, right? If there is a requirement to make a policy regarding the issue, so definitely there is a huge gap to be addressed. So you can address that, right? Gap identification is critical thinking skill. So your skill can be, right? So you can develop your skills, critical thinking skills. So definitely you have the possibility, right? Then write in the research problem. This is quite important because you have done your homework, and now the time to present your workings, right? So to present your workings, so definitely you have to write the research problem. Okay, so this is a logical thing, right? So you can write this carefully. So when the reader when the reader reads that, so he or she will get the point, get your point immediately if you've done this perfectly, right? Step 1, introduce social context. Without mentioning the context, there is no point of describing the research problem, right? So first of all, you have to come up with the social context and then explain existing situation. So you already observed that there is an issue, right? So you have to mention that thereafter. And as the step 3, show research gap, right? After discussing the research issue, right, the situation, right, then you can mention the research gap as well. That's why I'm conducting this particular research, right? Like that. Okay, then step 4, state why research is necessary. Okay, if there is a gap, definitely this research is necessary to conduct, right? This creates a convincing academic argument. That's why my research is this much important. You are trying to convince building your argument to the society, right? If you build that particular argument very well, you already validated your research, right? It is very much important. So you have to write the research problem very carefully. Okay. And then how to write the research problem. So I'm giving you an example. So when you read this out, you may get a certain kind of idea regarding how to write a research problem, right? First of all, so as I told you earlier, you have to introduce your social context, right? In the modern digital era, online learning has become an essential component of the education system worldwide, right? This is a common issue we can identify all over the world, right? Especially developing countries, right? So you can introduce the context like this. Then explain existing situation. In many developing countries like Sri Lanka, students in rural and low-income communities face difficulties accessing digital learning facilities. Okay, now reader, get the sense, get the point, right? It is very smooth, right? And then show research gap. Limited research on how digital device accessibility affects academic performance of low-income school students in semi-urban rural Sri Lanka. Now then what happens? When the education system is shifting to a digital platform, so it generates positive effect to the society. But when it comes to the low-income school students, the parents are unable to provide with a appropriate device, right, and appropriate data, right? So they may don't have enough financial capacity for that. So then what happened to the identified child, right? What happened to those children? What kind of influence, what kind of impact it creates on the on those on them, right? Those children. So that is the gap. So we have to fulfill that. How to fulfill that particular gap? So you can identify the information, the descriptives accordingly, right? If you can provide valid information, maybe the descriptives regarding those children, so then it is a great service for the society, right? So the fourth point is state why research is necessary. So it is essential to provide evidence to support inclusive education policies, right? To improve opportunities for marginalized students, low income school students. Likewise, you have to build the flow of the research problem. Should be carefully written. Okay, then example research problem, realistic. There is another example, right? Despite rapid digital banking expansion, low-income urban workers continue to rely on informal financial systems, right? Limited empirical evidence exists on how financial literacy shapes digital banking trust among informal sector employees in Sri Lanka. Right? It is connected with the finance field, right? And HR field. Okay. Likewise, you also have to determine your research problem based on the insights I have already given. So think carefully, right? And write carefully as well. And then research objectives, practical writing. Now you have identified your research title and you identified your you have determined your field, research field, right? And then you have already determined your your research gap, and then you write it, and thereafter there is thereafter you can face to another challenge. So thereafter you have to write down or determine your research objectives. Very important. Research objectives. So you have determined your research title, and after you designing your research objectives, it provides the guideline for your research. So what you should have to do, right? Very important. If you complete this step carefully, it becomes a green light to your research, right? Okay. Here, weak objective, right? To study poverty. It gives you a sense, but it is not the scientific scientific method, right? So what is a strong objective, right? To examine the relationship between microfinance accessibility and household income stability among urban slum dwellers. So then what happens? So it is very informative and it guides you perfectly. It mentions about the context, it mentions about the variables, right? It mentions about the what you are going to check, the relationship between, right, microfinance accessibility and household income stability, right? So you are going to check a connection, relationship. Likewise, that's how you have to build the research objectives, right? When it comes to bachelor's level or master level research, normally you can put like 3-4 research objectives, right? So there is no any hard and fast rule here. So you can discuss with your supervisor, right? You can create 3-4 research objectives, right? So if you are going to publish your research, you can build 3-4 objectives as well, right? Doesn't matter. Anyways, the objective should be very clear and it should be relevant to the scope of the journal, to the title of the journal, right? So you have to think about the research gap as well, right? And specifically, you have to tell what you are going to do. You are going to check the impact, or you are going to check the relationship, right? Or else you can say that you are going to identify the factors, likewise, right? Simply, you have to specifically tell what you are going to do, right? And then it should be measurable. So when it comes to this example objective, so is it measurable or not? It is measurable, no? Because you are going to check the relationship. So at the end of the day, when you are conducting your research data analysis, right? So you can conduct correlation analysis, right? After conducting the correlation analysis, so you can check the relationship. So if you are if you are going to check the impact here from the impact of A on B, likewise, right? So if you are going to check the impact, so definitely you can come up with the multiple regression analysis to check the model, right? So there are so many methods to do the analysis, right? It is measurable and it should be realistic, right? It should connected with real world, right? It should be connected with real world and it should be realistic, right? So you can't as a strong objective. So you are going to check you are going to determine an objective like how many mountains are there to calculate the number of mountains in the moon. It is not realistic. So you can't do that. Maybe scientists can do that, but you are unable to do that now because you don't have enough facilities to do that, right? So likewise, you have to think about everything, right? And also time bound. So if you are going to do an academic research, so there is a time limitation because you have to complete your degree, your master's, or your PhD, no? So you have, there is a time bound. Anyways, you are going to publish a paper. So you have, let's say you have already done the literature review part, right? Because you are going to publish this particular research by 2020, the end of this year, 2026, and now you have already conducted the literature review, right? So when you see the citations, the references available in the literature review part, so you have collected all the recent published articles, right? Maybe the early early 2026 or 2025, 2024, likewise, right? But you are not going to come, even though you have planned to complete this by the end of 2026, then what happens? You are still conducting the research. Now the year is 2028. Then what happens? You have used outdated publications, right? So anyways, you have time bound, right? So you have to come up with a good Gantt chart mentioning the time slots and everything. Then it's very clear when determining the research objectives. Okay. Okay. Weak versus strong research objectives, right? So you can read this out, because there are 10 real life research ideas with weak objectives and strong research objectives, right? Okay. And developing research questions. This is also important, right? The research questions should be aligned with research objectives, right? Those are interconnected, right? Interdependency is there. Research objectives and research questions, right? You have a proper idea about, you have to have a proper idea about research objectives when you're creating research questions, when you are going to create research questions, right? Good research question characteristics: analytical, clear, specific, linked to objectives, right? So you can use when you creating the research questions, you can use these kind of WH words, right? Then examples: what socio-economic factors influence digital service adoption among marginalized youth? This is an example, right? So likewise, you can create the research questions linked to research objectives. Okay. Right. And connecting research questions and objectives, right? This is very much important. You can't build independent research objectives. It should be it is compulsory to connect with research objectives, right? And when it comes to research objectives, you are going to tell specific goals we aim to achieve through the research objectives. We are trying to tell that specific goals we aim to achieve, right? And based on those objectives, we determine the research questions, and research questions are there to tell about specific questions we are going to ask based on the objectives. Okay. And linking topic with theory. Okay. Until now, we have discussed about the research methodology part, obviously, but we connected those insights with practical scenario, right? So you have a certain kind of idea to capture the practical insights, observe the practical insights based on your experience and academic and connect those with academia with, to identify the available insights and determine the research question gap, research objectives, research topic, and questions as well, right? Thereafter, what you have to do, you have to link your research topic and your determined constructs with the theories, because according to my knowledge, most of participants here are going to do a deductive research, right? So if I give you an example, let's say Albert Einstein, right? And Isaac Newton. So when it comes to their theories, those are inductive research. So they found their theory by their own without considering the existing knowledge, existing theories, right? So those are inductive research, right? When it comes to a deductive type, that approach, so you are going to integrate your practical idea with the available theories, right? That's what this should be happen, right? So you have to come up with literature, you have to come up with the available theories and integrate your research concept with the available theories, right? So here I'm going to give you a couple of examples. The topic is financial exclusion, right? The theory, social exclusion theory, founded by Linoy by 1974. Very old theory, right? So if you when you write especially the literature review, so you have to connect your idea with the theories. Likewise, it is not enough to identify the theory or mention the theory. So you have to give the gratitude for the founder as well. For that, you have to mention their name. That means you have to cite the article, and you have to put that citation in the reference list as well. Likewise, you have to mention their names and mention the theories, and you have to write a separate section in the literature review to discuss about the available theories related to your research title. So see this picture, right? If you are a research learner, so you have to integrate the theory with the practice with the theory, right? Theory makes research publishable. If you are unable to find a theory related to your research idea, so it becomes a huge issue when you are going to publish your research paper. So you have to come up with related theories, couple of theories, right? So study the knowledge and come up with theories. It's very important, right? Then feasibility reality check. This is very important to you, right? Before conducting the research, right? So you have to have a perfect feasibility study. You have to conduct that, right? So students must ask, can I reach respondents? Right? So sometimes when it comes to social science research, right, there are so many sensitive areas, we are going to discuss. Maybe some issues are very much private. The privacy is there, so you can influence to the people when you collect data. So you have to ethically do your data collection. So it is very much critical. So you have to get permissions from the responsible authorities. Likewise, it is a challenging situation, right, when it comes to data collection. So you have to think about that as well. The respondents are reachable or not, right? How to do the data collection, whether it is possible or not for me, right? Likewise, you have to think about that. Sometimes students are unable to get the permission. Professors can, because they have the authority now, so they have contacts and they have the power and everything. So they can easily conduct the data collection sometimes. But when it comes to a student, the situation is quite different. That is the practical scenario, right? So you have to think about this. And then, can I collect data ethically, right? So you have to get permissions, right? So you have to think about the procedures, right? Can you manage that or not? Do I have time and resources? Let's say you have only 6 months, right? And you are going to do a longitudinal research. Longitudinal research in the sense you are going to analyze the data throughout years, right? So if you are going to conduct the research within a couple of months, so it is not possible, right? And you have to think about your financial capacity. For some research, you have to come up with a big investment, maybe millions of money you have to invest for the research, for a certain type of research. So you are unable to do such a research, right? So you have to think about your financial capacity. If you have money, it doesn't matter, but if you don't have, so you have to think about that as well, right? And then, can I analyze data statistically? So some statistical softwares are very expensive, right? So you have to think about such things as well, how to analyze the data. Likewise, okay. And then, is my research study feasible, right? So you have to think about these things. What are the considerations? Time, resources, scope, right? And skills and expertise. So let's say you are going to conduct a research on ingredients of a certain product. That means, let's say, certain food, right? So if you are going to conduct such a research, so then what happens? If you are a social science researcher, probably you may not have a chemistry related knowledge. So there is a skill gap. So you can do that. If you can hire somebody related to chemistry field, or else you can, first of all, you can do a chemistry degree and get the knowledge, and thereafter you can conduct the research, no matter. But you have to think about that. If you are unable to get the skill, or if you are unable to hire a person, skilled person, so there is a skill gap. In the middle of the journey, you may face difficulties, right? So it affects negatively to smooth procedure, right? And ethical approval, as I told you earlier, and participants' access, right? So you have to think about these things. Otherwise, even though the research title is that much important, right? Even though you have built, you have created you have done the literature survey brilliant, right? Even though you have built up the research objectives, questions, and everything carefully, right? But during your data collection, you may face plenty of difficulties if you didn't consider these kind of stuffs. If you didn't do the feasibility study of your research, when you determine your research title, you have to think about these considerations carefully and take your time and then conduct the research. If you are competent enough, definitely you can go ahead. Right. And we have common topic selection errors as well. What are those? Right? Emotional topic choices. Right? Just because you're very much like to conduct a research in a given field, you are very much into a research idea. That may be your dream to conduct a research on a certain kind of field. But you may have these kind of issues when you check the feasibility of your research. So think twice, right? Trend-driven topics without literature. If you are a person who is going to do a deductive research, so you may have to come up with significant amount of literature, right? So trend is very attractive, but there are no literature. Think twice. And then too technical topics without skills. I already gave you an example about chemistry related research, right? And then topic unrelated to career interest. I emphasized these factors, right? Research should be strategic. It is a strategic decision. So that's why I told you, determining research, you have to think a lot, and you have to shift your attitudes, right? It is a psychological procedure, and it should be evidence-based, right? Definitely, it is a huge strategic decision, right? If you have already selected the great research title, considering all those stuffs, definitely you are a brilliant person, because you already done a great task, right? Okay. Practical topic development framework. Students can follow interest. So definitely, the other thing is, when you select a research title, it should be connected to your interest area, right? It should be an interesting thing. Otherwise, you may get bored, or you have to stay motivated now, because this is a journey. So it takes months. So you have to invest yourself on your research. So it should be an interesting thing to you. Otherwise, you get stressed now. So think about yourself as well, right? So just come up with a kind of interesting thing to you, right? It is personal, right? And social issue, right? And literature review, gap, topic, problem, and objectives, right? Scientific thinking pathway. Okay. And then if you have identified your research interest, explored the social issue, reviewed the literature, recognized the research gap, refined your topic, clarified the research problem, and developed clear objectives, you have already completed more than half of the true intellectual journey of research. That is amazing, right? Just experience that at least one in your lifetime. Okay, now what remains is not confusion but disciplined execution. Disciplines needed, right? Okay, example, full topic development, interest, artificial intelligence, social issue, digital exclusion and unequal access to opportunities, right? And then you identify the gap, limited empirical evidence on how AI-driven digitalized systems influence social inclusion and access to services among marginalized urban youth in Sri Lanka. Likewise, you already identified the gap as well. And the final topic, impact of AI-enabled digital service platforms on social inclusion and employment readiness among marginalized urban youth in Sri Lanka. Likewise, you can create your platform by your own with considering the things I told you earlier, right? This is how you get your own platform to play, right? So you get the benefits and the society gets the benefit, right? And you are the person who plays the remaining stages, plays on the remaining stages, right? So think about yourself and about definitely on the society, about the society as well. So carefully do this, right? This is about you. Okay. And then expected student output after session. So this is the end of the session. So by now you should be able to clearly structure the initial academic foundation of your research study, right? So with this, you have a clear and focused final research title, and then you have a draft research problem. You have drafted research problem statement grounded in a real social or theoretical issue, right? And then you have at least 3 logically aligned research objectives, right? And then a set of initial research questions to guide your investigation as well, right? If you have successfully reached this stage, you have already taken a significant step toward building the core structure of your thesis, dissertation, or future journal publications, right? So from this point onward, your research journey becomes more systematic, purposeful, and academically directed, right? All right, this is the last slide and intellectual closing insight, right? For a social science researcher like you, okay? Good research topics not emerge from Google searches, right? They emerge from observing society with a critical and compassionate mind, because you are dealing with humans, right? So you are dealing with the most sensitive parts of the society, right? So be careful and be compassionate, because we have to do something without hurting others, right? It should be the great thing to others, right? It is the social service of a social science researcher. As I told you earlier, it is the ultimate goal. You have to have a compassionate mindset. So thank you very much for participating this particular session. So I think I did my best to you guys to have a certain kind of idea regarding your research title And this may be the starting point of your research journey. So I wish you all the best to do something wonderful, to cater to this particular to this world and to human race. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much for that highly insightful and practical session. Today's discussion clearly highlighted that selecting a research topic is not simply an academic requirement, but strategic intellectual decision that determines the direction, relevance, and impact of the entire research journey. Participants were able to understand how to identify socially meaningful research gaps, align topics with academic scope, and develop clear problem statements that can lead to rigorous methodological design. I believe this session has provided a strong conceptual and practical foundation for all of you who are currently shaping your research ideas. On behalf of the Journal of Marginalized Communities and Social Justice and Blue Ocean Insights Private Limited, I sincerely thank our resource person for sharing her valuable knowledge and experience with us today. We kindly encourage you to continue attending the upcoming sessions of this lecture series in order to progressively strengthen your research competencies. Yes. Yes, with that, we will conclude today's session. Thank you, everyone. Have a pleasant evening, and we look forward to meeting you again in the next session. Thank you very much.